Hello and welcome to day 3 of 5 minutes for 4 weeks practicing Neil Young's Heart of Gold. Began this piece 2 days ago. I'm 10 minutes into practice. I don't know, finally it's not the right word. I don't know how long I usually wait, but I downloaded the piece so now I can play along. And it is indeed, I think it's slower than I was trying. I listened to it and it's much more, I don't know what the word is, but the speed is much more user friendly than I had been practicing, I believe. So hopefully I should be able to get through I was combining a bunch of it today. And so basically I had begun looking at measure 2 yesterday. Actually, I had begun the first day, but I began a little bit more of it yesterday, and hopefully I can play through that as well. Hi, Dad, thank you for joining. Quotation of the day: inch by inch, everything's a cinch. All right. Okay, let's get going. I have the song. And probably sit briefly without it, and then start playing along. Get the timer going. Okay. So. One and two and three and four and I think that's the correct speed. Oh, yeah, it is. Okay, my bad. There, okay, good. And three, two, no, yeah. E minor, E. It says E, but it's an E minor. It's not that, it's this. One and two, and three, and a four, and a one and two, and three, one and two, and three, and one and two, and two, and three, and a four, two, and three, and a four, one and two, and three, one. So let's do an 18 and an E. And two and two and one and two and three, two and three, one and two, and two. Slow down. One and two and three and a four and two and three, two and one and two and three and three, one and two and three and two and three and two and three and two and three, one and two and three and four, and two and three, one and two and three and four. I think that's it. One, three, two and three and four, two just working on the rhythm right now rather than the notes for that part. I'll have you try it with the music for fun. And 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and a 4 and a. Okay. Hey Rose, thank you for joining. How you doing? Just saw you that you were there. Something like that. Okay. Good. So a few things. I was playing it too fast yesterday and the day before, probably. So I'm glad it's slower than I thought. So that's helpful. So I was able to play that today. I kind of played the first two measures, at least the rhythm of it. When it hits the E, there is that hammer on it, Sarah. So I didn't do that. I was just working on the rhythm for now. Tried playing it along with the song itself, and the song itself was actually faster. But that's something I can work up to. I can slow this song down to 90% and play along with that. I might not even have to. Once I get comfortable enough with it, I might just be able to work my way up to 100 just by playing it. So let's see how that goes. Overall, though, it seems to be. I feel like the word approachable is coming to mind. I'm not sure if that's the correct word or not, but hopefully I should be able to do a bunch of the piece. That would be nice. So I'm looking forward to that. Rose, I like your songs, by the way. I think I have 3 left that I haven't listened to yet, so time to crank out some more. And then the same goes for me also. I have all these songs I need to write. Yeah. Anything else? Nope. No, just I guess keep on doing this. Same time tomorrow, hopefully. Hope to catch up soon, Rose. Do you have songs you've written posted? No. I have some. They're like private. They're listed private. I have one like I wrote last week. It was like I had just given my friend a bicycle ride home, and like we were like outside our house talking, and then this woman came up in her underwear and started like dancing, kind of thing. It was weird. So like I wrote a song about that, and I just like it was like a quick guitar kind of thing. I wrote it like in 20 minutes, kind of, which the best songs are. You know, you don't want to spend songs shouldn't require that much. You know, if it takes that much effort worth writing, it doesn't sound it's not natural. Yeah, it was interesting. So I was thinking of just because like it needs a drum because there's like some like parts where like it's like right, but like you need the drum, so I might just like record that. I was thinking about it. It shouldn't take too much. Just to have that drum backing track. That'll be fun. Even just like a rudimentary one. Like I kind of have this grandiose idea about like playing. Like I have a decent grasp of like all the basic rock instruments. Bass, guitar, drum, and keyboard, or at least piano. It's, I can play piano, you can play keyboard, kind of thing. But so I'm like, oh, I want to play all parts, and like then I never actually get around to it. I feel like if I was just playing guitar, I have recorded already. Like I recorded that one thing I sent on a Google Drive thing to a friend. So let me get that posted soon, actually. And I still have that song that I mentioned that I was writing a few months ago. So yeah, that'll be fun though. Yes, thanks for the motivation and keep bugging me about that. Go ahead. The more bugging I get, the better. What usually happens is like if I'm not available to do something, thank you, appreciate it. If I'm not available to do something and like can't do anything about it, then being told or reminded about it's not helpful. It's like like if I don't have a pen, whatever, and like I can't write it down, it's like there's no point in telling me. But if I'm in the position to do it and I get told about it, it's like, oh yeah, I have 20 minutes, I can knock that out now, kind of thing. So one of those things. So hopefully, if you remind me enough, it'll be at the point where I can do it. Like not right now. Like I'm about to go out to the gym, hopefully. So but yeah, I was like thinking about like how do I do it? Do I just like play a metronome in my ear and then do the drum part, and then once the drum part's written, then just overdub, whatever the word is, all the other parts. So something I've been thinking about. All right. How's the weather by you? It's supposed to like it's like really humid right now. You can tell how humid it is just based upon like what I'm wearing. Like yesterday, I was wearing a necktie and a button, like a short sleeve button down. Now I'm wearing like a super thin t-shirt and my hair's up and my forehead's sweaty. um, and it's like I have to shut the fan when I do the live stream also, um, so that you don't hear it. And it's like as soon as the live stream's done, I like turn the fan back on, and then like I start setting up for tomorrow, taking the thumbnail and everything. But like the fan's already on for that. Yeah, I heard that also. Like today through tomorrow, there's like a hurricane, something with a D, like the Anna or whatever. Um, but like I think that's not supposed to come till Friday. I'm not sure. I think it's like a little storm before that or something. Yeah, when I'm mopping my eyebrows, you know it's hot. um, yeah, but it's everything else with you is good. Yeah, it's humid here. Got a whole bunch. I keep a lot of my music stuff behind me here. Is it this one? I have I have 3 music notebooks. Yeah, things are good. Got back to the gym yesterday for the first time in like a month. Um, and so it's good. It's a nice feeling. It's good to sweat. I've been cycling a lot, and then sweating there also. And it's good for the health. Yes, this is my notebook with sheet music. Yeah. So just like things I started writing. These are like rhythms and things. I have one with the lyrics, which is somewhere around here. Then I have one at work, which I guess is also lyrics because I've been writing down lyrics for that song I mentioned, the first one I mentioned, as well. It would have to be here because I have all my music stuff here. I move things around a bit. No, I don't know. Yeah, what kind of stuff do you do in the gym? Yeah, I was like when I like first moved back from Israel, like I was cycling in the gym a bit. Um, like now I just cycle outside, and it's not like oh it's warmer now. It's like if anything, I prefer cycling in 30 degrees than in 80. Ideally like 50 because like it's not cold and I'm not sweating. Anything hotter than 50, it's like I already started sweating. If it's a long enough trip. So like I prefer. Also, there's more air on an actual bicycle. And it's more interesting. Like, sure, I could like listen to like a. I think I used to do that. I would actually. I think I was giving a health coaching session at one point. I think I did like 2 or 3 times. Like so I could listen to a recording or something. But I just find it more interesting to be on the streets, see the people, scenery, etc. But yeah, even cycling in the gym is fun. But yeah, I'm doing mostly weight stuff also. A little bit of calisthenics, but mostly weights. So I do like one day it's like biceps, lats, traps. One day is deltoids. I also do squats on that day and obliques. And then the other day is triceps, chest, and abs also. I kind of do the abs every day, but that. And I started this thing also. I like hang from a bar and then kind of like rotate my body around it. So like just switching over and then kind of like that. So it's a good way. It's like grip strength, those fingers, and a lot of forearms. Then just hanging also. So shoulders, back. It's helpful that like I'm not super bulky. Um, so like um, I don't have a lot of body weight, so it's easier for myself to support my weight, and I have good forearms also from cycling, just holding the handlebars as you're going over bumps and stuff. that helps. And like I mill flour by hand, so I do a lot of like things with my forearms, so and shoulders. So it's like I have the ideal body, I feel like, to do that exercise. So so like I don't know if I invented that. I've never seen anyone else do it. And then something else, while we're on the topic of inventing motions, I go on the bench and I hold the weight. This is on tricep day, and I just go like this with it, not to be confused with the row or the tricep extension, right? But this is actually just literally moving just the shoulder, and that really hits the back of the delts, because a lot of delt exercises you're doing just the for instance, like a front raise, you're doing the front head. Yeah. I was like reading it online. Like, I think I was like messing up a previous one. I just kind of like understood enough how the body worked that I decided that I'm like, this motion should work. Because then there's also the side one where you're going like this. Let's get you an actual here so you can see it going like that, and that works the side head. And then if you do it like pinky side up, that's what it was. You're doing pinky side up instead of just like this, then you're working the rear head. And like I felt like after doing this, just switching and doing 10 sets of that, I didn't want to do 10 of these. It was just like, this feels very repetitive, very the same. So I mixed it up a bit. I was saying, if this motion, basically raising this part of the deltoid towards the sky, is working the real deltoid, then if I do it like this, it's the same idea. So that's yeah. Thank you. And it helps. This book over here, my dad got for me. This is behind Stretch Armstrong. Do you know Stretch Armstrong? It might have gotten recalled before you were born. It was a toy from the 90s. But this is an anatomy book I have over here. And I was in high school, senior year of high school. I was getting interested in exercise, and Stretch Armstrong was a toy. It had a hard head like this and a soft body. It had a t-shirt and shorts, and then like flesh colored rest of the body. And basically you were able to stretch it. It had this, like, the skin was elastic, and inside was this kind of like, how do you describe it? Almost like a silly putty kind of thing, with like little bits of, so like more like a texture. It was kind of like oatmeal, but like very fine. And you used to stretch it. And it was fun. His arms and his legs would go out, whatever, and then like it would like it would get ripped, and then like this ooze on the inside would like spill all over the place. Like, apparently that wasn't safe. So like so my parents threw out the rest of Stretch Armstrong, but we kept the non-gooey parts. We kept the shorts and pants and then the head. But if you Google that, it's like one of the most iconic toys of the 90s. Anyway, so behind him is that anatomy book. And senior year of high school, I was getting interested in the human body because I was studying art. And I felt like if I understood what was inside the body, it would help me understand the outside of the body. I could probably do this very quickly. Just like drawing a human hand. Are you into art at all? Let's see if I can do this. Just focus on my fingers. Now it's drawing lessons. Okay. Basically, the wrist has 8 muscles. Scaphoid, eight bones rather. These are the carpals. Scaphoid, then I'll tell you tricuspid, pisiform, trapezium. Scaphoid, then I'll tell you. Scaphoid, then I'll tell you tricuspid. I used to know it, but there's an acronym. Thank you. Just let me get a little bit closer. Anyway, there's these 8 carpals, and so a carpal tunnel syndrome stems from. Anyway, there are these 4 bones that go out, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a 5th one here for the thumb. These are the metacarpals, and then from there, it's another. So that's basically, we're going up from here. 1, 2, 3, these over here, and then it's going 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is actually the palm, and then notice it's 1, 2, 3 more for each of these, and then 2 for the thumb. I don't know if you ever thought about that, but it is only 2 for the thumb. But this already is the palm, and then it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2. And then if you connect that, basically right over here, this is the palm, and then this, you just flesh this out a bit. These are your fingers. I didn't make this long enough, but and like that's how you basically draw a hand. And just like knowing the body. I really didn't try that long enough, but there, and also it should be a little bit wider. But that's your hand, and then two bones like this, the radius and the humerus, and then that's your forearm, and then one for the right. So just knowing that helps you get enough knowledge to draw that. Anyway, so this is why I was studying the human body. One was because I was drawing the body a lot. I wanted to understand it, and then also I was working out, and I wanted to know. I'm just focusing back on myself. I wanted to know the human body, so I knew if I was working out, if something was hurting afterwards, if it was the muscle or the tendon, because you're supposed to get muscle pain after workout, but if you're feeling it in the tendon, like something's wrong. And like sure enough, for the bicep, I feel like that's a muscle we're all familiar enough with that we know like if it's hurting here, that's good. But if it's hurting here where the muscle inserts by the tendon, like that's an issue. Like we understand that, we can see that, but other muscles like in the back, which you can't really see, like I felt like it was helpful to know like where those muscles began, etc. Yeah. So that's why I got into studying that. And then also like somehow my mom ended up with a subscription to Muscle and Body, and there was a lot of interesting information there. And then I stumbled upon a website called exrx.net. It was like exercise, like RX, like prescription, exrx.net, and it just had it, and you can check it out now. So it's still a really good resource. You go to the like Muscle and Body directory, whatever it's called. Let me actually double check. exrx.net. There's like a specific name, exercise library, maybe. Yeah. And then you just click on any part of the body. It's the first thing in the top left corner, and then so whatever, upper arms, biceps, and then you get all these exercises you can do with a barbell, with a cable, with a dumbbell, with levers, with your own body weight, and the stretches as well. So like which stretches to do before, after the workout. And somewhere on this website there was an area also you click on the actual muscle. Okay, yeah. So you click on kinesiology from the homepage, and then you click on muscle map. No, you don't. I'm not sure what that is. But yeah, muscle directory. No, that's where we were before. But it's a cool resource. So I used to read that a lot, and that was helpful. And then basically from there, I was able to figure out like which exercises were good for what. I think like Arnold Schwarzenegger also was like big into like studying the body and like coming like the Arnold press, for instance, like like he invented. So like he understanding the body just gives you a way to learn more about how to train it better. Cool. So you go to the gym much? There's a like kind of like where I had been, where it's like I wasn't there for like a month. So a lot of times like, oh, I'd like to go there and like I enjoy it, but I don't really get around to it. Or are you more like a regular kind of thing? I'm not sure where my other book is with my music. I know I have one at work, but oh, awesome. Nice. Yeah, there's a lot of people like I tell them like, yeah, I work out 3 days a week, and like some of them are like only 3 days a week, and some of them are like, oh, that's great, do what you can. And like also like yesterday, like after yesterday was my long day, so like after 45 minutes, I go upstairs to shower, and someone was like, that was it. I'm like, today's my long day. It's like my workouts are like 25 to 45 minutes, I feel. And like I don't know, like what I do works. Like I haven't worked out a lot this past year, so like I lost a lot of muscle. But like the year before, like I took a picture of like my first day of the gym, and then a year later, or like right before I began the gym, and then a year later, and like there was significant muscle gain. So like what I'm doing works, and I feel like I'm combining it with good health. I try to get enough sleep. A lot of times I do, a lot of times I don't. But good diet and just exposure to like clean air, etc. And then what else? like cycling and just like an active lifestyle, like walking. I rarely take public transportation. It's either walking or cycling, for the most part, and then um, like just like milling my own flour, kneading it, doing laundry by hand. Like all this is just a very active kind of thing. So I feel like I just mentioned to someone yesterday because he's like only 45 minutes. I'm like I feel like my lifestyle is active enough that like that's what I need in terms of weights, and it's working. So so that's good. Um, yeah. What time do you start work today? I know it's your hour. You're at 7:20 for you. Let me try to find that book. No, I feel like there's a chance it's at work, but I doubt it. I know that one of them is, unless it's in the folder. Because I have two folders with. Okay, 10. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, I kind of like get to make my own hours. Like occasionally, I have a meeting. Like yesterday, I spoke with an insurance guy. We had like a sat down and just spoke for an hour. But usually it's just like whenever I come in and that's I'm grateful for that, for having that um, flexibility. What kind of work do you do? These are some songs I was writing. This is before I had notebooks. I was just like just paperclip all these things together. It's like I'd come up with a little bit of rhythm, whatever, write it on some sheet music, and then like all the lyrics I had, whatever. This folder is just full of these like paperclip bundles, and like songs are never actually finished. Just notes for like a single song, and I just lost a bunch of it. Oh, or did I? No, this is all together. What is this? Yeah, this is all together. Okay. Oh yeah, that's an important job. I'm sorry you're losing it, but what else are you? What kind of other work are you considering? Do you still want to stay in caregiving, or do you want to go into something else? Okay. Yeah. Do what you want? Do what you like rather. I don't know. I mean, write down what you like, what you're good at. It's like a three thing. It's like what you're good at, what you like, and something else. And that like helps you like figure it out. Like for me, it's like I think I mentioned this one time. I think it was like that time we had like a 40-minute stream, and Keith was on also. I was just mentioning how like got an undergrad in forensic science, got a master's in applied ecology, got a doctorate in science education, then got into health coaching and functional medicine, and was gonna do that. And then the office manager at my synagogue, who had been there for 53 years, passed away. And then like I was asked to take over, and like originally it was kind of slow. It was like just like 4 hours a week of like entering checks and writing checks. But then I was just like, how can I help the community grow? So like made a Facebook page, made a YouTube page, started all these activities. And now I'm there basically like 40 plus hours a week. Just I'm like in the office, yeah, but for the most part, but it's just like bringing my talents to the job. Thank you. So like I like to garden. So like we have these planters originally put in like 10 plus years ago, I think, for security reasons, basically to prevent car rammings. These big like 22 by 27 or 29 whatever inch planters. And they were like planted with shrubs, and then during COVID no one was able to water them, so we so like 10 out of 12 of the shrubs died. So I like cut them down, and we planted vegetables there, and now like we get to harvest the vegetables. So that's nice. We got like beans, cherry tomatoes, cayenne peppers, which we haven't harvested yet, but hopefully in a few weeks. So a basil, we plan on putting herbs in there. We planted the herbs, the seeds this past spring. So they're small. They're like, whatever. So they're not ready to go into the planters yet. But this past Sunday we just repotted them or potted them into small pots. I think like 3 inches across, whatever, just so that they have a little bit more room until next year to put them out. We do crafts, we do games and books, kind of things like that. So just whatever. And I do my photography also. I'm a fan of that. So like I'll photograph events, I'll film events. I've been into cooking. I've given cooking classes, how to make sourdough, how to make chocolate, things like that. And just share the content on the YouTube page, share the pictures on the website, and we have digital picture frames inside the building. So just like it's like technically I'm the office manager, but I'm able to do a lot. I'm able to do a lot more of my job because I'm able to bring my talents to the job. And that's what makes it enjoyable, because I'm like, it's like what they say, like if you enjoy your job, it doesn't feel like you're working. That's basically what it is. It's just like I'm doing what I like. I'm just happen to be doing it from my synagogue rather than from my bedroom. And like if you can do that kind of thing, like with myself, also, like at least 2 of my jobs teaching, I would bring my guitar with me, and just when I was teaching English in one instance, and I was teaching biology in the other. And just to play songs. I mean, it was English for second, third, fourth graders, so I was teaching them basic songs and just bringing the guitar out and playing that. And then biology, like I tried to just like get them to write songs about it, because like I was taking a class about science and hip hop, and just like how music helps you remember things, kind of. So yeah, and like if you have think about what you like, it's like you like fitness, um you like music. And if you're able to do something like that, add that element to a job. Um, some jobs are less flexible than others. It's like if you're an accountant, like it might not be so easy to add the guitar element, unless you like have a bunch of guitar posters up in your office, kind of thing. Like you be creative, but or be an accountant for a music agency. Like that's something really fun. Or like for instance, like I have a friend. He has a CD shop, and we wonder like how does the CD shop still function? Like who's buying CDs? But basically, he does insurance also. That's probably where the big bucks come in from. And basically, he's been doing insurance for 45 years or so, and then I think actually at least 45. He landed a really good deal a number of years ago, and I think like 30 years ago, and was able to he had a lot of money and was able to open the CD shop, which was his dream back then, and which was actually a lucrative business then. Basically, the 2 buildings are next to each other with a door between the 2 rooms, so he's able to do insurance and music. Like the insurance is probably what's making the money, and the um, and the CD is like kind of more like his like passion, I guess. But it's not like he hates insurance. He sometimes the days can get really stressful. If like for instance, like the other day, something was not under the correct person's name, whatever. But it's just a job where like he can do both. He has 2 different jobs, and one which he like, it's more than tolerates. One which he like does whatever, and like one which like I feel like is his actual hobby. That's another way to do it. What is that speck? There's like a thing of light. Oh, it's this. It's the corner of this thing, of my book thing. I was wondering why there was like a little triangle of tan right over here. So that's something that's an option as well. It's like having 2 jobs, or at least like related, I feel like is helpful. I don't know. Yeah, just like maybe let me do a quick search, see if I can pull it up. It's like what I like, what I'm good at, and like what I'm good at. Mm. 8 steps to help you answer the question, what am I good at? Think about what skills have helped you thrive. Consider which activities or skill make you feel empowered. What comes to you naturally. That's important, because like like for me, like photography, I think I just mentioned this yesterday. Yeah, I mentioned this yesterday. I was just like, wasn't a big deal at all for me to take pictures, like a limited like 9 hours kind of thing. Um, and like that's a lucrative business. It's just like, I don't know. I feel like I wouldn't. Whatever. It's like I feel like, yeah, I could do it. And if someone's like, hey, can you get? I give you $100 if you come out and shoot this for an hour. It's like, yeah, I could do that, but it's just like, I don't know. I'm so busy as is. That's another point that I wanted to. Another thing I wanted to mention is that um, it's like the work at the synagogue. It doesn't pay like great, but like it pays enough, and with that, I'm able to have enough money to buy food, buy other necessities, and save a little bit for other purchases, and as well as work on my YouTube channel. Originally, I wanted to like I do at some one point I made 22 cents from YouTube videos, and then they changed the policy, and I never actually got that money. They like changed basically you can't monetize it unless you have like 1,000 subscribers, kind of thing. And the 22 cents, I think you probably needed at least whatever $10 or $25, whatever it was, for them to cut you a check and or do a direct deposit. And like I never got to that point. It was only at 22 cents, but like yeah, I was getting a little bit of money, so to speak. Not so to speak. I was getting it just in the account, but then it never got transferred in the YouTube account, whatever. But like I like making the YouTube videos, and even if I don't get money for it, if I'm able to help people, like I do a lot of health content videos. I haven't done them in a while, but um, with like the health coaching with functional medicine, a lot of people come to people like me after they've already been to 10 doctors who don't who haven't been able to give them the answer. And then it's like a lot of people like me would say, okay, I can give you the answer. It'll cost you $1,000 for the initial visit. And it's just like these people don't have that much money left. They've just been to 10 doctors. And I feel like it's, yeah, if they have that money, then they want to spend it, fine. But um, a lot of time these people don't have that money. And I feel like it's wrong to charge them that. So if I'm able to help these people and get money, not from that, but from somewhere else, basically it's like I'm getting paid at a job, for my synagogue, and then I'm able to have money from that, so that I'm able to do something else for free, meaning the health coaching, etc. And even better than a one-on-one consultation, if I'm able to make a video on YouTube and post it, and then get thousands of views on that, or hundreds, whatever, or tens, then I'm able to help. Even if it's tens, even if it's just like 40 views, it's like that's 40 people who've watched it, and potentially I've helped. I mean, I got contacted. I filmed a video from Israel facing east, so it was the Judean mountains, and there was a sun rising up behind the mountains, um, sunrise, and it was just a really nice video. And I like posted it, and then I got a message, email, whatever it was, from some pastor in central New York when I was still living in Israel, saying, I saw your sunrise video. We have a funeral coming up. I was wondering if we could use that as part of the funeral, have that going with like with Amazing Grace being played. And I'm like, yeah, sure. I'm like, yeah, I used to live in New York. And then basically like I ended up editing the video for him. I just put this, sync the song with the video, not sync, whatever, but we put the two together. And like that was a resource that he was able to use. So it's like he said like it was going to really help the family cope, and etc. So like I was able to help, the family just with the video that I made. So it's like, and that wasn't even an educational video. That was just a video which happened to help them get past a loss. But all these other health, the health videos, etc. It's something that I'm able to help people with. So that's something I like. That I'm able to make money from one thing and then use it to have the time for. Thank you, appreciate it, Rose. To have the time to help people. So that's another thing. What are the other steps on this thing? When it comes to you naturally, notice how you spend your free time. Talking about hobbies and stuff. Like I mentioned, like photography, drawing. Like if you're able to do that as a skill, just like for instance, like becoming a sketch artist for the police. So it's like if you have an interest in criminal justice and you're good at drawing, like that's a thing for you. For myself, the way I first got into forensic science was, I mean, the first time people ask me, what do you want to do when you get older? And I was probably like 5, whatever. And I'm like, I want to be a doctor so I can see people's insides, kind of thing. Like, right. So I went from that. And then eighth grade, the principal came into the classroom and was like, we need your yearbook bios, and we had like um, whatever, like 2 minutes to write, like, you know, David's favorite subject is this. David plans to go here for high school. David, blah, blah, blah. And it's like when David gets older, he wants to, like, it was that basically he told us those 4 sentences for everyone, just like, where you want to go to high school, what your favorite subject is, what your hobbies are, and what you want to do when you get older. I think those were they. And basically, so I'm writing, when David gets older, he wants to become. I'm like, I have no idea. And I'm like just sitting there. He's like, okay, time's up. I wrote down a chef. And like, that's just whatever. That was my thing for those 20 minutes or whatever. Then I got interested in architecture. Then senior year of high school, and then I got interested in horticulture, and started a horticulture commission at my high school. So there's another way for me to exercise a hobby of mine. Senior year of high school, I went to get my bicycle after at the end of the day, and it wasn't there. I'm like, did I take the train this morning? I'm like, no, I didn't. And sure enough, my lock was on the floor a little distance away, and there was like, bust. I used to keep it here, like right over there, but it's not here. I think I got rid of it eventually. Busted with like a rock kind of thing, and there was like cinder block shavings on it. And then sure enough, there was a cinder block a little distance away. And I asked the security guard, I'm like, do we have security footage from today? He's like, oh no, they were working on the cameras today. I'm like, okay, it was probably someone who knew that, it was probably an inside job, someone who knew that the cameras were down, not from inside from the school, but potentially from the camera agency, whatever. And then I asked, I think the freshmen had a trip, and I was friendly with the freshmen, and I said, did you guys notice my bicycle when you left? And they said yes. And then my sister mentioned, she's like, she left a Danish or something on the handlebar in a bag, and then it wasn't. So like that was the, oh no, maybe that was the before. So like, let's say she dropped it off at 1 p.m. We knew it was still there by 1 p.m. And then the freshmen, when they came back, I think they noticed it wasn't there. My sister was like, I hope whoever stole the bicycle ate the Danish and got sick or something. But so like I had the time span. It was between when my sister dropped it off and between when the freshmen came back. So I had the when, I had the how, I had the cinder block right there. I had the who potentially, or like at least like a broad class of who. I had the who, what, where, why, obviously. Who, what, where, when, why, how. Basically, it's like I had almost all the questions answered. I'm like, this is fun. I liked science. I'm like, okay, let's go into forensics. So that was my motivation for that, just being able to keep doing something that I liked. And then ultimately, I didn't like how the criminal justice system was worked. I didn't like how like I could spend all these hours getting some, figuring out, get a DNA sample, figure out who it came from, etc., and then basically have it thrown out in court because like, oh, there was a problem with how it was obtained. I'm just like, I don't like putting all that work into something and potentially have it thrown out. I'm like, what do I like? I'm like, I like gardening. At this point, I was really, no pun intended, but really blossoming the garden at the high school. I was volunteering at that point with it. So I went into that, and then so I decided to get a doctorate in ecology. Then there was an issue after 2 years of not coming up with a project with my advisor, so I was going to switch advisors. And then like they found out, one of them was like, you don't have a master's? I can't, my program doesn't allow me to, my department doesn't allow me to take you as a doctoral student without a master's. And another one was like, my personal conviction doesn't allow me to take you as a doctoral without a master's. So it was just like, and like I had basically like 2 days, 3 days, whatever. I found out like I wasn't going to be able to finish with a doctorate. So I took the credits for a master's and said, okay, I can do a doctorate in science education. Because that's what, while I was doing the master's or the doctorate, whatever, while I was doing the ecology, I realized that I preferred teaching because I was teaching also to pay for the education. I realized that I preferred teaching to research. So I said, okay, I'll do that. And then I did that for 4 years, got the doctorate. Towards the end of that, I was dating a woman who was having health issues. So I got really invested in that. And then continue with that, and basically until I got involved with the synagogue. What were you good at as a child? Okay. Ask others what you're good at. That's another thing, because like we oftentimes don't see it. It's like this hand, like for me, this is a really bad sketch that I just made of this hand. Like, as you heard me, I'm saying, oh, the fingers are too small. Not to brag, but this is a lot better than a lot of other people can do. I mean, or can do at this point. I mean, they like if they basically did what I just showed you, I feel like they'd be able to do a better job. Um, but just like for me, like this is a natural thing, and like I might not realize it um, because it just for me it's just like, what do you mean? This is just drawing. It's easy. It's nothing special, kind of thing. But for other people, it's other people can see your talents oftentimes when you can't. Um, I'm just like, for instance, I'm just fleshing it out a bit now, and okay, this thumb is too big, but basically it's just like to show you like this is a lot better than it was before, um, and that's um, what I'm trying to say is, I'm gonna focus again. Um, it's what to me wasn't good, but like even for me, this I can still do better than this. But a more basic one is other people would still think is good, or like even cooking. It's like for me, cooking also is like until I got all this feedback from people saying, yeah, and I'm sure there's a ton of stuff that you're better at than I am, etc. Um, like we all have these talents. Cooking, like I never realized how good of a cook I was until I got all this really good feedback. Like I used to make pickles and go to a bonfire and like bring the pickles and we'd pass the jar around and they would just go. And it's just like I guess people really like my cooking. Um, so um, so oftentimes we need other people to really point out our strengths. Um, Look for patterns when asking others what they think of a strong. Pay attention to characters and frequently. But yeah, so basically, like, see what other people like. If everyone's saying, "Oh, yeah, you're a really good cook," like there might be something there. Keep an open mind. Yeah, because like you're asking people, and if they all say cooking, you're like, "Oh, I'm not good at cooking." Don't let that. Don't let that. Um, don't let that distract you. And then you give. This is a good link. I wanna. Can I put? No, it isn't Zoom. But basically, if you the title is 8 steps to help you answer the question, "What am I good at?" It's from a website, Zippia, Zippia. Um, I would comment it on a video of yours just so you have it. Actually, I can write in the chat right now potentially. There we go. So if you can save that link if you want, it would look like a good read, and that might help you. And ask people who like, yeah, you're welcome. Ask people who like know you better. Because I only know you like a few months, but people who like know you from childhood, etc. Yeah, they might have a good sense about like your virtues. That's another. This isn't helpful for your career, but this is just a fun thing. If you have 40 minutes, it's a personality test. I learned this in my health coaching stuff. I have books about it right over there, and basically you answer questions. And about about yourself and like how other people see you and like you see your character strengths. Like for me, it was honesty and perseverance were my two strongest ones. I'm like, that totally makes sense. And it's like I can't lie. It's like the card game BS, where it's like, I don't know if you know this game, but when we were younger, we were told that it stands for Boy Scouts. But the idea is that someone has to put down an ace. So the person says one ace, and the next person has to put down two twos. Has to put down two rather, and the person can put down one, two, three, or four twos. And then I'm just closing the shade. It's getting really sunny. And the next person has to put down a three, and then a four, whatever. And it's like, if you don't have a three and it's your turn, you still have to put something down. And you BS about it, and you say 1, 3, and you put down a queen or whatever. Now, if someone has all four threes, the person obviously knows that you're lying, and the person says BS, turns it over, and then you have to take the stack. And it's like my face for that game, I'd be like 1, 3, and like I had the worst lying face, and I just learned not to lie. And then just also like I felt like you lie once, people can't, people don't know if they can trust you or not. And like one time in high school, like I told the truth because like. And then the principal said, I even asked, like, how do I know I can trust you? I'm just like, I don't lie. And like, because I told the truth, which got myself in trouble, like he knew from that point on he could trust what I'm saying. So that was an interesting, takeaway from that. Interesting benefit. So yeah, what do you call it? Perseverance and honesty, and you can see the personality come, not the perseverance coming out, because the whole thing about FFF is all about perseverance. It's all about coming back and playing the guitar for 5 more minutes the next day, even though the previous day didn't sound that great, and even though that day might not sound that great, and even the next day might not sound that great, and sometimes day 24 doesn't even sound great, but sounds better than day one, and that's the whole point. I'm gonna pull these books out, right over here. Oh man, I got a whole stack of these. These are my coaching books. This is from my health coaching program. So I got a lot of reading. So you had to read 4 of these, and then some of them I just bought extra. 1, 2, 3. I think it was these 4. It was these 4 we had to read. So people are like, "What kind of training do you have?" I'm like, "Well, we had to read 4 books, and it was like 20 hours, I think, of videos to listen to every week, and then like an hour, three times a month we had 2 hours or 3 hours, I don't remember, of Zoom. And like I was using Zoom before COVID, so like I say, I was using Zoom before it was a thing. So it was like a serious program, and then like all of these I bought extra just like to learn more. I read most of this big one. I think I read all of this one, and then not these. But anyways, these character strengths book. It's 1, 2. So this one is combining mindfulness and the character strengths, which I wasn't such a huge fan of. But this one was cool. Character strengths matter. So like after you take that, if you want to take that test, it's like 45 minutes. And then basically, I think it's like 30 strengths or so. Let's say right over here in the table of contents. I know it doesn't, it just has them. But it's around it's like 6, 7, 8 pages per strength. And then basically you just like hear hope. So it gives you a quotation about hope, and then a little hopes on the strength, and then it gives you a little explanation about it, and then 5 actions to build hope. For instance, surround yourself with optimistic and future-minded friends, particularly when you face a setback. Accept their encouragement and help, and let them know that you will do the same for them when they face obstacles. And then another piece about hope. Like it's just this was good. I like this, and especially for your own strengths. And it's like my weakest strength, I think, was like teamwork, whatever. And it's just like, I don't know, I feel like I like doing things on my own to a decent extent. So it's just like teamwork wasn't the strongest, it was the weakest. I mean, but or like it was like the bottom 5 basically. So it's like I find it more interesting to read about perseverance than about teamwork, but like not every chapter in a book is of interest for the most point a lot of times anyway. So I feel like you can get this used online for like $10 if you are interested in it. That's a fun thing. And that's one thing we do with coaching people. Help them, because the health coaching is all about it's psychology with a little bit of health in it. It's basically asking questions to help people find the motivation to achieve the goals that they want to reach. Ideally, that they want to reach rather than other people are having them reach. Like if a doctor says you have to lose weight, it's affecting your heart. That's a doctor set goal. And then how do I lose weight? The doctor says, okay, stop eating sugar. So the client comes to me and says, I have to stop eating sugar. How do I find the motivation for that? No, he doesn't say that. He says, I have to stop eating sugar. How do I do that? And then basically the job of a health coach is not to say, oh, well, these foods have sugar. Actually, potentially one could, but it's more saying, okay, why is it important for you to do this? It says 2 parts. It's like once the goal is there, it's like avoiding sugar. It's like, okay, how do we do that? Well, I can give you some suggestions if you're open to that. That's part of it. Or the person can come in and say, I know I need to cut out sugary beverages, but I really love Pepsi or whatever. So I can say, okay, why is this important to you? Why is it important to you? It's not just about cutting out the sugary beverages. It's why do you want to cut the sugary beverages? And it's because I want want to live longer. And my children just gave birth, and I have a cute little grandson, things like that. And then you ask the question like, hey, why is this important? Okay, you have a grandson, etc. So that's basically coaching. And then so using the character strengths can really help the person. It's like, okay, how do you what are your key character strengths? So for instance, perseverance is, how can we use that to help you keep the sugar off? And whole idea is like, okay, you persevere to not use the sugar, you persevere and you keep going towards health. Hope, how can you use hope towards that? Hope for a better future, and to do that you need to put that effort in. So just all these character strengths you're able to use towards health coaching, and particularly if it's your key strengths, because those are things you really care about. On like honesty for me, for instance. So if it's that important to you, you really can make a change that if your strengths are tied into it. So that's what's going on with that. Anything you want to talk about? I just rambled for a while. 56. Ooh, this is my longest live. Is it? I feel like. Did we break an hour yet? I'm not sure. It's almost 9 o'clock here. Yeah, what's on your mind, if anything? Let me put these books back in the meantime. Or sort them by size. I like doing that. I like to sort books by size, and that within a category. So these are all my coaching books, and then I'll have the next section of books, and I know that I know where the section begins. For instance, I'm pulling this one out, but there we go. Trying to face the camera there, and this one's there. So you can see it's kind of like going down, and then it hits this. This will be the new section of books. So it's kind of like a staircase, like with a bunch of ramps. So I'm able to like just easily see that section. This one belongs here then. What have we spoken about? Not much. We haven't really spoken about music today much. We spoke about exercise. We spoke about because it's funny because you asked how I'm doing. I said, oh, I got back into the gym. So we spoke about exercise. We spoke about drawing. We spoke about jobs. That was good. And then how to know what you're good at. We spoke about health coaching a bit, character strengths. Your job, what you've been doing. Spoke about that a bit. You could just scroll up. The weather, the storm. Yeah. So let's see. What are your talents, or what are you good at, kind of thing. Like for instance, like me, like I've been told I'm good at cooking, drawing, things like that. I enjoy gardening. I enjoy photography. So like, what are you good at? What do you enjoy? Because like my friend's been borrowing my camera, and he's been doing like cosplay shoots. Like it used to be that I'm sure you're good at a lot. Ask your friends. That was one of the things on that article. It's like, ask your friends, be open-minded. Because if you get a lot of people saying that they like your, like for instance, like I make chocolate, and I like chocolate is basically 3 ingredients. It's the fat, which is cacao butter, cacao powder, and then sugar if you're gonna add that. You could add milk powder also, but basically it's like a ratio of those 3 ingredients. White chocolate is just cacao butter and sugar. There's no cacao powder added to it. Basically the cacao butter gives it its texture, that melt in your mouth, not your hand kind of texture, but it actually would melt in your hand if you hold it too much. But without that, if you just make sugar and cacao powder, you basically would get a hot cocoa mix. So you need the body, you need that fat. And if you mix just the fat and the sugar, then you don't get you hardly get any of the chocolate. The cacao butter has a mild chocolate taste, but not much. So basically, you add the cacao powder to get that chocolate taste. Basically, the more of it you get, the more chocolatey taste you get. And it's like, I like it rich, and like that's how I describe it. And it's like rich and sweet can be 2 different things. like for instance, if you did it, let's just say like a 70% bar. So it'd be 30% chocolate and then 70%, let's just say 35% butter, 35% cacao powder, and 30% sugar. It's like if you instead made it like, if you got that 70 by doing like 30% sugar, sorry, 30% butter and 40% cacao powder, and then still the 30% sugar. So instead of 35, 30 40, or 25, 50, you can really make that bar darker, not darker, richer. Anyway, I like it really rich. And like one time I was making a bar, and like I'm feeding other people. I don't know how rich they're gonna make it, and like I didn't put in as much cacao powder, um, and it was just it's a really long explanation just to get at what you wrote, but I didn't like it. It wasn't rich enough for me. It basically just tasted like it tasted watered down. It had a lot of butter and sugar and not much powder. And I just like brought it out one time at the synagogue for like I'm like I had this left over in the kitchen. I can't eat it. It was fondue that I made. And it was, I'm pretty sure that's what it was. And it was like after the event was over, it hardened the chocolate, which is basically how you make chocolate. You melt it, and you melt the butter. You stir in the other ingredients. You let it cool. And before it finishes cooling, it's in the fondue stage. But then once it cools, it's chocolate. So basically, I'm like, I can't really eat this, guys. It doesn't, it doesn't really have much flavor. You can try it, and everyone liked it. Everyone except for me. And I'm just like, how do you guys like that? Whatever. But like, that's another thing. It's like people enjoy things that might not necessarily. People see things that we might not necessarily about ourselves. So you say that you're not good at much, but it's like you're good at music. Um, your lyrical writing is genius at the least. And it's beautiful. Um, it progresses like poetry. And it's I was an English teacher in Israel, and the the stuff they make the kids read, it's awful. And I even like went on this rant one time to students saying they make you hate English. I'm like, they take these poems, they make you answer all these obscure questions, and then basically it's like they make you take this piece which was intended to be enjoyed briefly, and they make you spend so much time into it, dissecting it, that you just hate it and the language after a while. Um, but with your pieces, like you have those levels of depth, like this, like The Longest Road. Who's that? Robert Frost, I think. I just want to double check. No, The Longest Road. That's a book. The Longest Road. No, that was a book by Jack Kerouac. The Road Not Taken. I think that's Robert Frost. Yeah, Robert Frost. People, you have all these English teachers who are like, think about life, think about the road not taken, and go on that path and become a trailblazer. That's not what it's about. Robert Frost was making a joke. He had this friend who was totally indecisive and couldn't make up his mind. So he was making a funny poem about him. And it's like people don't realize that, and they go into they go into depth about how wonderful. And it's like it's never supposed to be done like that. And like I'm sure you never like wanted people to have deep analyses of your poetry either, but like it's possible because it is deep. So it's like you write these pieces. It's like that's a super really good skill of yours. So like you could write music for other musicians, which I never really liked. It's like I feel like if you're gonna be singing the song, you should be the one writing it. Um, but I don't know if you write that well. Other in other areas like journalism, for instance, or just writing for newspapers, magazines, any of these things. I don't know if you ever watched Seinfeld, but I'm basically going through all the episodes now because we plan on having um, a Seinfeld night with a trivia game, and like I want to make sure I know everything. Yesterday I just watched the first episode where Jay Peterman is shown, and he basically becomes Elaine's boss. And he's this like very loquacious individual about fashion. He'll just say like he's like, I like your coat, and I can't even imitate it, but he like goes through all these details. It's 5 buttons in the front with pockets in the back, cargo for carrying all these. And he just goes through all these details like salesmanship kind of thing. So and it's like comical in that instance, but just writing is an important skill. So that's a at least writing songs is a very big strength of yours, even if you don't see it. And I'm sure other people, other people definitely have, because you can look at your other comments. I'm not the only one who's writing good comments on your pieces. Though CPR was the first person to comment yesterday, so I'm like, this song doesn't have any comments already, but a lot of them do. So clearly, I'm not the only one who thinks that that's a talent. So you got quite a lot in that arena, and I'm sure in a lot of other arenas also. Is that your strongest one? Maybe, I have no idea, but that is something you could certainly look into. So glad to be whatever the word is, helpful or something like that. Good. So if you want to, you can read that article, and you can let me know what you think about that, what strengths, what you what you're good at, what you like, etc. We can talk about this more if you want. It's 9 o'clock here. I do need to turn my fan back on. Thank you. Yeah, that should be fun. Do need to turn my fan back on and get to work. I'm gonna go to the gym first, probably go shopping a bit. But it was good to chat with you, Rose, and hope to do it again soon. For anyone else still on the stream, hope to see you. No, you're fine. It's if I didn't have other things to do, I could keep this going on for hours. But I did a live stream one time. I was building a hut. Yeah, it was good to talk. There's a Jewish holiday called Sukkot, where we basically build huts and live in them for a week. And I was live streaming it because it was my father's father built it in 1963. So, and I was living in Israel, so like I wanted my dad to be able to see like me building it. And I streamed, I think one time was 4.5 hours, and then the next year was 5.5, whatever it was. So like those were long streams. I was just talking about like everything. So yeah, I have no problem talking for hours. For everyone else, if anyone else is still here, I'm surprised. Actually, I was gonna say I'm surprised no one else has joined in the meantime. I'm not sure if that's the case though. I feel like people might have popped in, realized like this guy's not playing guitar, and left. I can check, because at the end of the stream it'll tell me how many people have been in the stream. Like it might even say 7. I have no idea, or it might say 1, but I don't know. Thank you everyone who joined. Hope to see you all again tomorrow, same time, 7:40 a.m. Eastern time. A reminder that there is a link in the description section with a list of songs from which you can make requests. That goes for you as well, Rose. You can feel free to do that. And as always, until next time and beyond, keep practicing.